not a bad way to kick off the weekend, is it? The sun is shining. It's looking really good out there. And it's a weird feeling for me, right? Because I'm about to go on holiday. So it's like the sun is out and I'm like, oh, it's great to see it. Obviously, it's really nice. But then I'm like, oh, I'm going on holiday now. And just as the weather's turning, but look, I'm not moaning. I'm going on holiday. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I'm going on holiday. So, yeah, I will be recording though while I'm away. So I'll be doing bits and pieces from abroad. But I just want to put a bit of news out today regarding Ben Johnson. It's been going on isn't it, for some time, this whole Johnson thing. It's been rumbling in terms of him leaving the football club. We've been in talks, I think, for about a year now with the player about extending his contract. Now, the issue, I've talked about this previously, the issue is with it, is this is how I see it, okay, is that when you get players coming through the academy, they're obviously on a lesser wage. So when they start, so when they then go into that kind of, well, I'm now a Premier League player. If you're then going to jump, let's just say, thrown out there, say from 10 grand a week to wanting 50 grand a week, it's a huge, huge jump. And they look at it as a percentage wise, that in terms of an increase, the club, and especially David Sullivan, balk at it. And, oh no, I can't agree to that. I can't give someone a 500% pay rise. You get this not just in football, you get this in the normal workplace. I've seen it plenty of times. I experienced it myself, where they're reluctant to give you that sort of wage that realistically you're at, because they've been keeping you on a low wage for such a long time because you've been coming through the academy. So this is what's gone on with Johnson. Johnson just wants a Premier League wage. Now, as we understand it, I mean, I don't really need to talk figures because I don't know it exactly, but I understand it to be in the region between 40 and 50 grand. I think it's around that kind of a week. Oddly for a footballer, 40 to 50 grand a week. And look, he's worth it. I don't care. He is worth that money. There's no doubt in my mind. If Ben Johnson was to be signed by West Ham now, imagine he'd never come through our academy. We hadn't bought that type of player. That's the kind of wage we're paying him. So I don't know what the big issue is personally, other than what I've said. Like, they're looking at it as a percentage increase and they don't like it. So this has been going on for some time, as we know. And West Ham's reluctance to meet this, what's called demand, but sort of like assessment from Johnson's side of where he thinks he should be in terms of salary, has meant that effectively Ben Johnson and his team, rightly so, are now coming. They're coming towards the end of his contract. It's running out very soon, as we know, the end of this month, in fact. And they've been looking and talking to other football clubs, which is understandable. Now, Crystal Palace appears to be the front runner in terms of signing Ben Johnson. That seems to be the club that's most likely to get him. And you can understand it from Ben Johnson's point of view. I mean, especially when you look at Palace at the moment, they seem to be sort of the upward trajectory. With their new manager, had a very good impact at the end of last season. I mean, we'll see how next season is. But you look at that club and think, do you know what? I don't see them at the moment as a football club to go to that you think they're going to be battling relegation. They're going to be really struggling. I think that they're possibly going to be going the opposite, probably top half, aiming for that kind of thing next season. And of course, then you've got Johnson living in London, doesn't have to move, etc., etc. It kind of all fits in, and they can offer him the wage that he wants plus a sign-on bonus. So there's loads of positives in terms of what can happen for Ben Johnson at Crystal Palace. So I kind of understand the move, right? I've made it really clear my view on it. In terms of West Ham's, from our point of view, I think it's a really short-sighted move to allow someone like Ben Johnson, who is undoubtedly a useful player, really useful player. He's not a player in my eyes that's going to be a first-team starter every week. He's going to be one of our main players. I don't really see Ben Johnson as that. But do you know what? I think he's someone that can grab hold of a position when need be. I think he's someone that can come in. He's a hybrid player. He can play at right back, left back. He can play in central defence. He can play in midfield. There's not many players that can do that. There's not many players. I mean, you think of West Ham now, apart from Ben Johnson, who can you say that can go and play in, say, 3 or 4 positions and do a job? I can't really think of anyone, to be honest. I mean, you've got Bowen that can play on the left wing and can play on the striker, but can he play in midfield and right back and left? No. There's not many that can do that. Ben Johnson can do that. And I just think for what he's asking, it's very short-sighted from West Ham. And I've made that, point a fair few times now. So there is a bit of a twist now. There is a bit of a twist, and it's one that I personally am clinging to. Like I know people will come on this and comment on this, and you absolutely, and I want you to, all right, slag me off as much as you want. You do what you want. All I'm saying is, right, I rate Johnson. I think he's a decent player. I know he's not been perfect, as I've just said. He's not a player that I would go, right, he's the first name on the team sheet. No, but I think he's really useful to have at this football club. And the fact he's a West Ham boy, he's come for our academy. He's not someone I want to see leave. I do not want to see it. So there's been a bit of a twist in the fact that apparently, this is what we're understanding at the moment. This is and it's been reported a fair few places. Ex-WHU employee has talked about it as well. So it's very credible, this, is that West Ham are in talks with Ben Johnson again. We are going to try and get this result. We are going to again try to get an agreement. The interesting thing is in this, now, usually I wouldn't bother doing a video on this because, I mean, how many times have we said Ben Johnson sitting down with West Ham to talk about a potential deal? I mean, countless times. So this is nothing really new and exciting, but there is a slight bit of new and exciting part to this. The exciting interest, let's call it whatever you want to call it. I'm going to go with exciting, is that Julen Lopetegui, J-Lo, our new head coach, has spoken with Mr. Johnson and explained to him that he is a player that he wants to have at the club. He's a player that he wants to be utilising, a player that can make it into his team. And apparently, this has changed Ben Johnson's way of thinking, giving him something to mull over, something to sort of reconsider. Do I really want to be leaving West Ham? My club, a club I've come through, you know, he's a West Ham boy. Do we want to be seeing him go? I don't. I really don't. So the club are going to sit down with him. Now, it's two parts to this. The update, I'm talking about the X update, okay? I like the fact the club are sitting down with Ben Johnson again. I like the fact that the player is now reconsidering his options and he's actually being swayed slightly to stay at West Ham. And that's after talking to the new head coach. These are things I like to hear because that means that also not only is Ben Johnson considering staying, which is good news, but I like the fact that our new head coach is making an impact already. He's coming in and having a player that's made it very quite clear, I think, and had his mind made up that he was going to be leaving. He's now reconsidering after a chat with this new head coach. So it'd be interesting to know what he said to him. As I said, we understand it that he has said that he sees him as part of his plans, but let's be honest, he's probably heard that from David Moyes. He's heard that from David Sullivan and Karen Brady. He's probably heard it from all these people, heard the same thing. So the fact he's spoken to the head coach now, almost head manager, head coach in Julen Lopetegui, that's now changing his way of thinking. He's now considering staying at West Ham. I really hope they can come to a resolution. The frustrating part of the update, though, was that X has said that once again, the money's the problem. He's asking for too much. It's really annoying. It really gripes me. It's one of those things. I see it all the time. In fact, I've experienced it recently. A workplace where someone was, done really, really well, progressing well in their career and clearly an asset to the business, etc., etc. And then they say, well, look, I've done my qualifications now, I've done my exams, I'm all qualified, I now want to earn what this level. And they go, well, no, we can't give you that much of an increase in salary. You're like, but that's irrelevant. Just pay them what they're worth. And that's how I feel it is with Johnson. I feel for him because he's on a lesser wage, and because they're seeing it and go, well, no, hang on, we can't give you that much of an increase. It winds me up. Also, there is a slight spanner in that works as well, which is that West Ham have got to be very careful about wages, though. So that's all. I think that's also a factor. But regardless, I don't think Ben Johnson's asking for a lot. Considering the fact what we pay other players. I mean, Danny Ings is on what? 3 times that? Ridiculous. Anyway. I'm happy with the update. I like the fact overall, in terms of the fact that Ben Johnson's now reconsidering his position. I really hope and pray that he stays. I really do. There'll be more to come with this, and we will be keeping us updated on the situation on our website, thewesthamway.com, but it comes first and foremost on our Patreon. So if you're not a Patreon member and you haven't checked it out, just there's a link below. Go and click on it. It's fantastic content, $5 a month, you can't go wrong. Or you can go be an ultra, and there's loads of extra bonuses on that. You get phone-in shows and more podcasts, and I'm on one of them. You know what I mean? If that's not a seller, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? Anyway, have a good one, and let's hope that we get some more good news and hopefully some more signings as well. Well, I want to say more signings, a signing coming through the door. Come on, you ones.